Welcome back, everybody. As you can see, we are in the Jeep. We are getting ready to head out to Plant Daddy Express. Going to pick up some gourds and some pumpkins, and we're going to get started on a nice display on the porch. So come along.
How's it going, guys? This is Hunter Cox, owner of Plant Daddy Express in Nova. If you're wondering what my address is, 311 Township Road 1031, or just Plant Daddy Express on Google Maps. Just put it right in your GPS and you should be brought right here. This is my first year being open for fall sales, and so you're not going to really see anything too fancy. Like, literally I just wrote the prices down on some white gourds, so obviously nothing too fancy. Eventually I'm gonna have a little bit better of a setup, but as you can see, I just picked all these pumpkins a few days ago, and so you've got assorted sizes for jack-o'-lantern pumpkins if you wanted to save the seeds or just carve them or paint them, or who knows what you want to do, just for decoration. I've got a little bit of everything this year, pretty much. I tried my best. And so most things I grew myself. I bought a lot of the fancy gourds here, but then I grew some myself. So I've got various piles, but all these gourds are pretty much all the same price. So you can see these are $4. And then I've got stackers and the white gourds and different things. And some things I grew just a few of some varieties. So pretty much just come and pick out some different things. I've got the little pumpkins all the way up to the big ones. I'm not even sure how much they weigh. So some are this big, some are this big, and they're kind of all labeled as the same price. So pretty much come and pick something out, and I'm probably only gonna round down and give you some free plants and some free pumpkins. I'm looking to get rid of a lot of these so then I don't have to just dump them for the winter. But got lots of plants other than the pumpkins, and we can walk around and look at the other stuff I have. So here we are at my shade house. I sold tons and tons of shade plants and bought a lot in, grew a lot myself. So a lot of the coral bells I grew all myself, and these are anemones right here, flowering nicely. Coral bells come in all different sizes, and so I've got green ones, yellowish orange ones, dark purple ones, red ones, and lungwort. I think you always have to have some shade plants in your garden. If you don't have shade, then you can create some with a tree or something, and or even a shrub.
Yep, that's a great tip.
I sold a bunch of these. These are really unique. They're just finished flowering. Golden groundsel, Destemona, big leaf golden rays. If you got a wet area that has some shade, you can put one of those there, and they get like 3 foot wide, 3 foot tall. I got some helleborus left and different ferns here and there. I put some of my plants that are basically done growing away in the shade pretty much. So I put some ferns over there, bleeding hearts, and some other things.
What is this?
Horsetail. If you want something really unique for a perennial planter, this is a good option. But I do have plywood underneath the landscape fabric because it does spread from the roots, and it'll go through, and I learned that lesson the hard way. And
so this is similar to bamboo?
It's in its own family, I think, but I'm pretty sure it's a native. And so if you want something unique, that's a good option. Horsetail grass. I think it's got a few different names, but aside from that, I've got 3 types of astilbes here. This one's called Chocolate Shogun. There's only a few types, I believe, that have dark leaves, but all of these bloomed nicely. And I've got a white astilbe, and then another one called Hot Pearls. And of course, the Hot Pearls is a bright red. And more coral bells and different things. If you're looking for fancy hostas, these are my overflow. This is my overflow section. But if we come around here, I've got a big long section of different hostas. So starting over here, I've got Gold Standard, white feather. Check out the tag on that one. White feather. I'm going to change the price on that one. I'm going to reduce it down, but that one is a true white in the spring. I've got some bigger ones. I've got Big Daddy Hosta and another one that is very similar to some in substance, but I'm not sure the name of it. First Frost, Golden Tiara, Mighty Mouse Ears, Blue Mouse Ears. Check out the tiny little leaves on those. This one you can even plant in nearly full sun, but part shade is best for that one. This one right here is a really good ground cover. I've got a tag somewhere. This is Spotted Dead Nettle. This one is also called Lamium. It's a super long bloomer. Blooms pretty much from early spring even into the fall as it is now. Praying Hands. This is the Big Daddy Hosta.
Oh yeah, this was really different. I haven't seen that before.
Next year I'm gonna order in some more fancy hostas and different things. So if you like the curly leaves, I sold out of curly fries hostas. Like literally I sold every single one that I had. So kind of sad that I don't have them anymore, but then I did sell out. So I'm gonna have to get some more of those. The Praying Hands, I sold whatever was looking good, and those are growing pretty decent, but I know somewhere I can get some more. And another one that was really cool that I sold a few of is the Fire Island Hosta. When it first starts growing, it's got a red stem, and then the veining is a little bit more red, but then it's pretty much a bright yellow, and even right now it's got a nice yellow coloration. But now being October like 6th or whatever it is, they're kind of fading a little bit. But and then I've got two types of lungwort right here, but another type behind you. But it's a really good, fast growing in the spring perennial. It stays about a foot tall, foot wide, and but if you're looking for something to cheer you up in the spring after a long winter, this is a perfect plant to.
I might have to get some of that. I have not seen that before.
This one's
It's really pretty. The leaves are.
I'll show you the tag if you haven't seen that already. Pretty in pink. So this one's an all pink one. I've got another one called Twinkle Toes. It's got a lot more blue in the flower. I think most of the flowers are blue, but a little bit of pink in there. And then another one is Raspberry Splash. And this is the Raspberry Splash. And this one's got a long thin leaf in the spring. So these ones, they do good in shade, but of course everything here should be good for the shade. But I'll have more options in the spring hopefully, and but a lot of these plants I'd put them in any garden situation, and they should do good. They've survived all spring, summer, and now into the fall long, and they're only continuing to grow. And so if you need something for your shade garden, then stop on by at Plant Daddy Express and follow me on Facebook. This is another one of my $4 gourds. As you can see, it's got a whole bunch of different, I've got a whole bunch of different colors, and so you can walk around, pick out what you want. And but I've got a nice garden bench here, and so you can pose in front of the zinnias. This is the first year doing this large of a zinnia patch, and I'm pretty excited about how it turned out. But then with the drought, a little bit of these a little bit of flowers, slowly they just kind of faded. And so maybe you'll want to use a filter when you're taking pictures in front of the zinnia patch right now, but it was looking amazing just not too long ago. And I've got ornamental grasses throughout the sales area. I've got ones that get like 12-13 foot tall, and then I've got some short ones. I recently picked up a few new types, some bunny grass, and basically I got a little bit of everything. Liriope, I've got a patch over there, but I've got some nice shrubs, flowers. This spring I did tons and tons of sales, and some things I sold out of, and then other ones I still have a few of. So I've got some different things that I'm growing out for next year. And so next year I'm gonna have arborvitaes and a whole bunch of different raspberries and edible plants. Some people like to plant grapes and blueberries and raspberries, asparagus. I've got all kinds of different things. If you want to have an edible garden, but if you want just purely ornamental, I've got hundreds and hundreds of perennial plants. And so this is going to be, next year is going to be like my 6th year being open. So this past year was my best spring ever. I did 4 times as many sales as any of the other years. Like, I did more sales than all previous years combined, and like tripled that. So pretty much I've just been reinvesting everything back into the business, trying to improve. And one way that I'm going to improve for next year is have bench cards everywhere. And but we can walk over here and look at my other gourds I have to offer. And so I pretty much just picked out some different things that I liked. You know, I saw this one and I figured that would be a cool one, and I'm definitely going to grow these again next year if I decide to grow gourds. This is called a Turk's Turban gourd, and for just $4 you can get yourself one of these. And I've already sold some of these. I've only got a few white pumpkins, and that one almost has a little bit of blue. Maybe that's more of a gray, but
that one's going home with me.
All right. I mean, I've only got 2 of them, so I've got a bunch of different things pretty much. If you're more of like a fan of the whites, I got whites. If you're a fan of yellows and oranges, I got pretty much a bunch of different colors. But like I said, it's the first year being open as far as the fall sales go, so pretty much just seeing how it goes. And but I picked up some more plants over here, and this year I sold probably 40 or 50 salvias. And so this one right here has got a nice tag. It's called Living Large Big Sky Salvia. This one gets almost 3 foot tall. It's got an old flower here and a new one there. And I've got some other things that kind of died back on me with the drought, but that is called an Echinacea. And I've got some more salvias. I think this one's Rose Marvel or something like that. Ornamental grasses. And then next year I've got many different colors of phlox. And over there is my perennial flower section. Everything here should come back for the most part. And so I pretty much, these are just the leftovers. And so this year I bought in a bunch of plants and pretty much dug some up that I grew myself. I propagate hundreds and hundreds of plants, pretty much thousands of plants. And so I've only got a few of each left, and so I pretty much put everything right here. So a lot of the plants that I have are spring bloomers, but some of these do bloom from spring to fall. Salvia, yarrow, echinacea, and gaillardia, those have been proven long bloomers for me. And so as I continue selling plants, I'm trying my best to grow longer bloomers, and then pretty much weed out the plants that I don't care to grow any more of. And so some things I've been selling for a while, and as I continue to sell each year, I get new customers, but some of the new customers, they're going to want better plants. I'm trying to get rid of the old plants that don't perform as good. So the one thing that I'm extremely proud of always is my mound here, and right now it might need a little bit more mulch, but I've got all kinds of plants. A lot of these are spring bloomers, so I've got but then I'm trying to make it like a 4 seasons garden with different hyssops and coneflowers and black-eyed Susans and ornamental grasses and everything else. I've got a nice stone pathway that I put in last year, and so I've got all kinds of different plants here, and I'm always planting it, and it literally never ends as far as the process here. And some things I cut back and other things I just planted, but I'll show you the project that I've been working on. This right here is going to be a seating area with a wraparound mound. And this year with the drought, we had some plants kind of died back on me, and so as I move forward, I'm trying to grow better plants for you, better plants that you don't really have to water as much, and like maybe some natives, so ornamental grasses and yarrows and echinaceas, different things like that I'm planning on using into this design. And so basically there's going to be a pathway going through here, but then the mound is going to wrap around, so there's going to be some twisty locusts. They have really cool branch structure, and some different ornamental trees throughout the mound and stuff, and another pathway going on the back side. We've got concrete right now, but it's going to have a brick wall going around there. It's going to have pavers on there, so next year if you come, hopefully that is all set up and done nicely. But another thing that I'm extremely happy with is my shade house, and so I'll take you over there right now. I have lupines all over the mound, and I grew a bunch from seed, and I sold probably 20 or 30 of those this year, maybe 20.
Did you get flowers from the ones you started from seed? Or not yet?
I pretty much have like 2.5 gallons of seed from the lupines, but I grew them in previous years, and I pretty much just directly sowed those, so
That's some nice strawberries.
I was somehow able to sell those. But I did buy in a bunch of strawberries and sold most of those. I have just the 3 types left. That one there is an unnamed June-bearing variety. I've got 3 types of asparagus and probably like 10 types of raspberries or something like that. So I've got double gold and a few types of blackberries and a few types of red raspberries, and they all produce berries. So then like this one over here, you can see it's got berries on it. So this one might have produced, like that one might have produced like 3 times maybe even, and then that one's got flowers on it. And but these were kind of rough. I mean, you can see more berries over there, but and then I've also got Josta berries, which I sold most of those. But next year, hopefully those.
I've heard of those, but I don't really know anything about them.
I had a lot of blueberries, so I got some Duke blueberries, and them produced really nice sized berries, and they were just loaded with flowers this spring. And these are arbovitas. It's like 250 or so arbovitas, and then my mound back there, which I've been very picky on what I planted there. So we can walk around and look at that right now.
Let's do it.
Different flowers, like these right here, snow and summer. Snow and summer.
Oh, I've been wanting
plants.
some of that.
And like I've got one that I bought that was this size, and then it grew to like that size. Every year, every spring, it flushes way out, and then it's just white flowers, just a cloud of white, and it blooms for probably a month straight, and it blooms at the best time. Like when everyone's buying plants, this one's blooming. And then I have another plant everyone was asking about, was blooming orange. Not too many orange flowers out there that are perennials. I've got some butterfly milkweeds that do good, but being that it's a spring blooming plant and it's also orange, it just kind of draws your eye right to it, and to have 2 plants like that was really nice. And I've got ornamental grasses here. So this is bunny grass I'm growing out, and then prairie drop seed. The prairie drop seed pretty much died completely back, but if you look real closely, it's got some new growth. But that one is gonna give me some nice texture. But over here I've got some Millennium Alliums and salvias. Like I said, I sold so many salvias this year, because these literally, they started blooming in probably early May, I want to say, and maybe even like April, but they're not looking amazing right now, but they're still blooming, and they did amazing throughout the year, and they ended up growing from seed. But that one right there is Agustachi, and I've got Rosy Posy over there, and then I think this one's Mango Tango. Yarrows, I didn't hardly sell any of those, but once I get the bench cards and have a picture of the flowers, I think this one I'm going to sell a lot of, because it's literally been blooming ever since I planted them back in probably June. And then some more Agustachi. So there's 3 plants right there, and that one, even right now, you could, when you get up close to it, you can hear like the bees buzzing. And then penstemon on the back side. I've got 3 types of penstemon. Those did really good. And so one that I really liked is the Midnight Masquerade penstemon. I sold out of all of those like right as I got them. And that one right there is it's got white flowers. The Midnight Masquerade has pink. That one, I I can't remember the name, but every single one of the penstemons have nice dark leaves. This one, when I planted it, it was stressed and had the green leaves, but then as it flushed out, now that it's healthier, it got nice darker leaves. And another thing that I really like is the nepeta. So this is like a taller type, but then if you want something small, I've got Cat's Pajamas nepeta, and that one was blooming in April, and it's still blooming now in October, so that gives you an idea on how long it blooms. And some things, they can bloom like all year long, pretty much, from spring to fall, but then some things, they either need trimmed, or sometimes they have like a down period. Nepeta, that one just never really seemed to ever stop. Another thing I've got is balloon flowers and daisies. I sold probably, I don't know, 60 or 70 daisies this year, and I've got some cone flowers in there. There's powwow wildberry, and then I've got a pink veronica. But so I'm trying my best, like I said, to plant the very best plants in this mound, so then I can just leave them and not have to dig them up or touch them. And my goal isn't even really to propagate any of these, just so it always looks good.
Look how cute those are.
This year my goal was actually to have more flowers than like any other year, and I don't just mean like more plants, because in the past I grew a ton of like shrubs and they do flower, but I wanted more perennial flowers. And while the marigolds and zinnias, they're gonna die back and they won't come back next year, I can save the seeds. And every single day I see goldfinches now, and I never really saw them in the past, but I believe that the plants that I've planted have like attracted them. And then I always see big monarch butterflies on the zinnias. So you can see one on the zinnia over there. That might not be a true monarch, but but like literally I see them every single day, even though the flowers are kind of fading a little bit. But so it's always nice to see. I planted these zinnias a little bit later, so I think that's why they're doing so good. Ruby Falls, weeping redbud. That one was discovered, I think, 24 years ago, and now it's pretty much available all throughout the probably world by now. And then another one, I think, which was discovered a little bit later, was this one right here, which is a golden falls. So that one's a ruby falls, this one's a golden falls. This one and that one also blooms a nice bright pink in the spring. And so I got these when they were blooming, and then they leafed out. And when this leaves out, it's like a bright green, like almost a yellow. And so I'm hoping that like, I mean, there's a flower right now. They're doing weird things, but I'm in search of a shade structure right now. And so if you're wanting to sell yours or whatnot, let me know. Each year that goes on, I'm getting closer to being able to afford, or buy or build a greenhouse of some sort. Right now I've pretty much got things set up to where when I water with the hose, then I get a whole section of plants and they conserve water if they're in a giant group like this. And these plants, the ornamental grasses and fall plants, they're pretty much good if you wanted to buy those, if you want to purchase something like that. But I would suggest waiting on like the shrubs or things like that till the spring. But I'm learning a little bit each year as I go along.
This has been a really awesome tour. Thank you so much. And if you want to repeat your details.
Thanks for watching. This is Plant Daddy Express on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. I've got my links posted on Facebook somewhere. You can go and find my Facebook, because that's where I typically post on. And be sure to subscribe to this channel as well as mine on YouTube. And thanks. You want to
leave us with one gardening tip? What's one really important tip for us?
So if you're planting plants and you don't absolutely love something, you don't always have to save your plants. Plant what is going to do better. Plant something that's longer blooming, plant something that's hardier, something that you're gonna enjoy looking at. So if you have a boring plant, you can remove it, come here, buy yourself something that's gonna be longer blooming, and something that's your favorite color instead of a boring yellow, or maybe you like yellow, so you're gonna get a yellow plant instead of a pink plant. Just get something better. Always improve your garden as well as your life.